Wake up with the sunrise, meditate to clear my mind. Thank you for this breath, I'm ready to be surprised. Don't know where I'm going, but I'm ready for the ride. Don't know where I'm going, but I know I got my guide. Hello and welcome to this healing session. I am so happy to have you all here. And in particular to have our guest today. But first, I am Rachel Robinson, victim rights attorney, and in my spare time, if you can call it that, I'm also an international best-selling author, a poet, a lyricist. I have 3 songs out right now, several more to come this spring. Thank you. And yeah, but predominantly I am a victim rights attorney. And so these healing sessions are so important for my clients and for women in general to really learn about the ways to heal from trauma from the inside and outside and how to live your best, healthiest life so you can fully come into your own and overcome anything that is ailing you. And so with that, I am very happy to introduce our guest today. Her name is Shenise Cobb. She is the owner of Everlasting Yoni Love, that sells home vaginal steaming spa night kits, custom vaginal steaming herbs for different health concerns, and she also offers virtual guided sessions. Really, the mission for Everlasting Yoni Love is to have healthy conversations about female reproductive health and guide our next generations into homeopathic ways to have great vaginal health. So with that, thank you so much and welcome, Shenise. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I like that introduction.
Well, I will let you take it away. Tell us more about your history, how you got into this.
So basically how I got into this is for 15 years of my life, literally from the age of 19, I started having issues where I would have nightmares before my period would start. I would literally Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde from a couple days before my period started till a couple days after my period went off. It got to the point I would get sent to the emergency room through ambulance. I was taken to the emergency room by ambulance in a gas station because my legs got so paralyzed from the pain. I was taken to the emergency room from a job before. I have driven myself to the emergency room and not remembered being there. Luckily, the doctor understood that. They called it PMDD, which is premenstrual dysmorphic dysphoria disorder. And what happens is it's basically PMS times 1,000. So think of a simple mood swing, but think of it being homicidal instead of just, oh, I'm upset for a second. And it got to the point that I did get a doctor who found out I had polyps in my system, in my uterus. And it's very common among especially brown and Black women to have polyps or fibroids or cysts that grow inside of our uterus. And that's when I started researching, why does this happen? And in our culture for centuries, we've actually been steaming our vaginal areas to keep the buildup from the uterus from after having a menstrual cycle, to keep from having cysts and polyps and fibroids. So I found it on the internet. Oh my gosh, YouTube, TikTok, everybody. And I started doing it, and I've been doing it for 4 years, and it has been life-changing. And from the point of after 3 months and seeing the results and seeing how I felt, the polyps are gone. They're not coming back after 4 years. My periods are lighter. They smell better. They feel better. I can just take Midol and call it a day. And I won't say I'm happy like the commercials, but compared to what it used to be, I'm happy like the commercials. So I feel like every woman that has a menstrual cycle should be using this. And using it while you're menstruating will help when it comes time for menopause, and we won't have issues like UTIs. And that's a big health scare once we get older too.
Well, thank you so much for that background. Let's dive into the actual mechanism here. So
Yeah.
steaming, what's the process for the steaming and what are the accoutrements that you use in this process?
Honestly, simplest things. I have seen on the internet, people have used bowls and pots and everything like that. But you can easily go out and get, or you can buy through us, a basin. So this is just a plastic basin. And most women will see this when they've had a child and they use it for after childbirth to cleanse the system. All you would do with this basin, and the basin lasts, I've had the same basin. I started 4 years ago, but my first basin, I messed something up. So I've had the same basin now for 3. But all they would do is you would take your basin, you would take a pack of herbs, usually use 1 pack. In the boxes, I supply people with 2 because the first time you do it, you want to kind of shock your system. So you'd put, which is 4 ounces all together, you'd put all the herbs in your basin right here. You would add boiling hot water like you're about to steam a cup of tea. And you would let it sit until the temperature is cool enough that you can stick your forearm over it for about 30 seconds and it doesn't burn. A woman would squat over it. She could sit it over her toilet and actually sit on it. You can get stools that have openings in them that we could put a crock pot, or you can put a basin in the middle. And you would wear a gown, a blanket, anything that covers the body from the neck or the bust down so that you can sweat in the inside and create your own little mini sauna. And as it's steaming, it will start to cause the inside to sweat and to moisten. And when it moistens and sweats, what happens? The pores open up. And now all these herbs, all their aroma, all their apathy is going inside of your system, and it's helping, such as the yarrow. And right here is motherwort. And I wish you guys could smell these things because they smell delicious. But those items themselves help with motherwort. It's for like diarrhea, constipation, cramps. Wow, doesn't that sound like a commercial that we watch on TV?
Exactly. Except this is like healthy ways and natural ways to address that. And
Exactly.
relaxing. I mean, it's like going to the spa. Have yourself a Yoni spa day in the
Exactly.
privacy of your own home. Given that, I mean, how much time would someone need to set aside to go through one of these Yoni spa days?
I say when you first start out, it's probably going to take you 2 hours because it takes a minute to get everything set up, see what you like, how you want to relax, get yourself calm, everything like that. Also, when you're first starting out, you usually are going to steam. I call it rinse and repeat because you're going to do the first set of steaming of sitting down for the 15 to 30 minutes. Then you're going to turn around and dump the water. You're going to strain the water out and reheat the herbs again, let them steep again, and then you're going to sit again for another 15 to about 30 minutes. And at that point, you can dump everything out, get rid of it. That's why it will take about 1 hour to 2 hours. It's the whole steeping and sitting and steeping and sitting, and that's what takes about 2 hours. After that, though, once you're only doing it once a month for someone who has like a healthy menstrual cycle and they've done it now for 2 to 3 months and they're good, you would steep one time, one package, sit 15, 20 minutes, get up, and you're done.
That is amazing. And so, I mean, while someone is sitting and steaming, they could have a foot mask on, have a hand mask on, a face mask on, read a book. It really causes you to slow down and just really be in tune with yourself and with your body for that amount of time, right?
Exactly. And be in tune with your Yanni. We don't give her enough love.
Exactly. And so, tell me more about some of the after effects. I mean, I will say I did it. You came over to my house and helped me through it. It was amazing, and I love the gowns that you have. I have done it since then. And actually, when I did it, it was maybe about a week before my sacred time of the month, and I saw the difference. Tell us though more about, what was I experiencing? Why? What can a woman expect? And I think you already sort of explained why that happens, but I do want to go into why you choose the exact herbs that you do choose. But first, what can we expect afterwards?
Because every month our lining gets thicker because it's getting ready for an egg to sit against it to be fertilized. And when it doesn't happen, we have our period and that lining sheds away. It is thought that because protein is what helps build cells and membranes and all those things, that if you have a lot of protein built in your body, like we know some people's body makeup has a higher protein mass than others. So the idea is if you're building that lining and it's building thickly, and it's not shedding all the way, every time it builds, there's a little piece or a little layer there. It irritates the body, and the body starts to mess with it, and it's trying to get rid of it, but then it ends up just building over top of it because it just keeps making layers. And after it keeps building, that's where we get our polyps. That's where we get fibroids. That's where we get cysts from. And then we end up needing surgeries and everything like that. With the herbs, as you asked, like what herbs are in it, there are things like basil, and that assists with moving the fluids around and helping with the circulation in the body. Rosemary also boosts circulation, and it's an anti-inflammatory. So there are also things that we eat in our daily diet, especially on the Western man side, and it causes inflammation in our body in all different parts of our organs. And a lot of times we forget that that's an organ. Our uterus is an organ. And so it gets inflamed. If dairy inflames your intestines, it can possibly inflame your uterus. It just depends on the things and properties that you're putting in your body that can cause these problems. So the whole system is, it's something you want to do every month because the long-term effects will forever last. You will have less period bleeds. You will have less clottage if you have clots on your period. You will have, like I said before, the odor will change. Usually women notice after about 2 to 3 months, say you have heavy periods that last 4 or 5 days. And I mean, the heavy kind where, like mine, I used to literally wear a male diaper because it was the only thing that could catch and not mess my clothes up. And after steaming and everything like that, it got to the point within 3 months, literally, I can wear a regular, like I can literally go, do I need a day one, a overnight, or a light? Like I actually had that decision to make. And there was no spillage. There was no extra.
That is amazing. Well, tell us the rest of the herbs and then tell us where we can find you or, any other facts you want us to know before we jump into how to find you.
Okay, so it has oregano, motherwort, calendula, and then if a woman has, like, let's say we want to deal with fibroids or we want to deal with polyps, we would want to change up what's going on. So let's say a female has polyps and she has severe cramps. I would want to turn around and I'm going to do something like, I'm going to increase the amount of calendula. I'm going to increase the amount of basil. I'm going to increase the amount of rosemary. And I may even take out other ingredients completely.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then after she starts noticing a difference, or maybe we go back and she gets a checkup and the polyps are gone. Now we can go back to the basic original recipe that a 13-year-old girl on her period that has no issues can use.
Awesome. That's phenomenal. I love that. And so do you tailor different teas, different herb settings for your clients? If they come to you and say, this is what's actually going on in my body, you'll create what makes sense and have a special packet just for them?
Yes. So in my basic boxes, I have the regular package, which I said anybody that's just menstruating and they just need it, a freshening up, can use. But then I also get bulk packages of all my herbs, and then I will tailor it based on what they specifically need. And if someone has regular periods, but to them they feel like, you know what, I don't like the odor of it, or maybe I feel like I do bleed a little heavier, we can also formulate something for that and see if there is something going on.
That is amazing. So my final question for you is, can someone steam while they're actually menstruating? Or, okay, go on.
No. So do not steam while you're menstruating. Your menstrual cycle is a natural process to actually help clean the body in the reproductive area for the female. So you do not want to mess with it at that time. Think of it like you wouldn't do kidney dialysis if your kidneys are working. So you're only using it afterwards. This is just your assistant after it's all over. What do we used to call her? Aunt Flo. This is Aunt Flo's assistant right here. So
that's a good one.
So yeah, no, do not do it on your period. But a lot of women don't realize they can do it in menopause. So we can formulate a formula for a menopausal woman. There's a lot of irritation because of dryness. There's irritation because they end up getting bacteria and UTIs due to the dryness. And they also, may experience looseness of the muscles in that area, because when you're irritated, no one's working those muscles really anymore. It's irritated. Who wants to bother it? So I can tailor their own formulas for what's going on with them, and that will help with that.
Wow, amazing. All right, well, it sounds like you have something for everyone. Where do we find you?
So right now we are just starting up. So you can find me at the phone number 720-982-1189. And then you can also find me on Fiverr. And then also you can find me at EverlastingYLove at gmail.com.
Anything else you want to let us know in general about health, about your experiences, what we can carry with us as we start our everlasting Yoni love journey?
Yes, definitely. So one, I would say do it every month. I'm not going to lie. I was one of those people that stopped for 2 months and I saw the difference. Yes, do it every month. Also, let's make it an open forum. Let's talk about it more. Let's not make it so taboo and get this information out there. I want everyone to be Yoni steaming. So let's do this.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Shenise.
Thank you.
And we will talk again soon, I'm sure. I might have to go steam right now, so.
Thank you for having me, Rachel. I'm so glad to be here.
Of course, and happy travels.
Thank you.
Know where I'm going, but I know I'll be delighted, educated by the truth. Elevate, I'll be the proof of everything that is possible when I see this mission through. Ignore the noise, listen to the